Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to Coaching Think Talk. I am Coach Maan from the Coach Philippines, and this is Coaching for a Healthy Mind Space. This coaching conversation is for individuals who are experiencing uncertainty and overwhelming their lives because of some unhealthy mindsets and negative thinking that they have acquired in their lives. And it is my deep desire to help them break free from these thinking patterns through the renewing of their minds so that they can have full and abundant lives as a journey their calling and purposes. And thank you for joining me live this afternoon. Please leave your digital footprint by letting me know where you are watching me from. And do tag a friend or any of your family members. And feel free to circulate this video to help us reach more individuals who might benefit and learn from what I will be sharing this afternoon. And you may also give some shout outs and greet some of your friends in our comment section, and do share an inspiring message for them so they can also watch. And I am streaming via the Facebook page of Life Coach Philippines and YouTube channel Coach AI Connect. So if you are new to any of our platforms, please like, follow, and subscribe. So thank you, Coach Trisha, for joining me this afternoon. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. And do allow me to introduce myself if this is your first time to see me and you just happen to come across this video. I am Coach Maan Lamorena. I am a certified life coach, also a certified mental toughness coach, and I am a happy wife and mother to a 3-year-old daughter. And prior to me being being in the life coaching profession, I was an HR practitioner for 10 years. But after that, I turned freelance for around 4 years. If I think, yeah, 3 to 4 years. I turned freelance as an online digital specialist. And being freelance, it also allowed me to do other passions of mine, and that is to coach football and futsal, which I have been doing until before the pandemic. Of course, with contact sports halted right now, this has been set aside. So yeah, I'm here, I'm doing this, and that's my short journey from being part of the corporate world to now being a life coach. And I am also the creator of the Facebook group You Renewed. So this is my Facebook group. This is actually a community where I share my thoughts and ideas on how we can win the battle in our minds. Because I do believe that some of the battles we face in our lives, the big decisions that we need to make, the things that we need to take action on, it all starts in our mind. So if that is if that is something that you're passionate about, if that's something that you want to learn more from, then do join me in this Facebook group. And also, if you want to connect with me, you may reach me at my Facebook page. That's Coach Maan. So you can also, I hope that you can also like and follow it as well. As I go about my topic this afternoon, I encourage you to please share whatever thoughts and realizations you may have as you listen. Do share it in your timeline if you're feeling extra generous. It's what we call pack my bag moment. It's any learning or any insight that you have gotten from the talk that as soon as you hear it, you know you're good to go. You already have something that you can take with you that you can implement and act on. And as you share it in your timeline, of course, that would be an opportunity also to bless others who might be following you. So do post it. It's hashtag pack my bag moments, hashtag coaching think talk, and hashtag a healthy mind space. So there. Yes, Coach Sean, good afternoon. Also, Jay, my husband is watching me. Thank you for taking the time to watch me today. So there, quarantine or not, we've been in this quarantine for a, a year, more than a year. Wow, that's time flies. And so it's been more than a year. And quarantine or not, I believe that having a healthy mind space is really essential. It's as essential as having a healthy and clean physical space. In fact, I do believe that the pandemic just highlighted the importance and need for having a healthy mind space, how it is essential for everyone. And the reason for this is that I believe that, same with having any physical space that is cluttered and messy, it would be hard for us to make better decisions, to think about to process our thoughts, and even, think clearly when we have a lot of mental clutter in our mind. So that's why it's very important for us to really keep a healthy and clean mind space. And I believe it is also because ultimately it's our thoughts that drive our emotions that eventually lead to our actions. So today I'm just gonna dive right in and share with you how we can create habits that stick. Um, you know, uh, Growing up, it has been a struggle for me to lose weight. So every time during New Year's Eve, I would always include lose weight or diet in any of my resolutions. Parang ilang taon yun, sunod-sunod, lagi ganun. And one time, medyo specific pa kasi sabi nila, make your goals more specific para mas matuloy mo. So I wrote it down, I broke it further by saying, okay, not just diet, but I will not eat red meat. I will avoid rice. I will not drink carbonated drinks and so on and so forth. And for a while, I believe that's for 2 months, I was doing well. Although when I would assess myself, there doesn't seem to be any change in my weight or in my outward appearance. So as I continue with no change externally, I started to feel demotivated and not inspired. And eventually, I just quit trying. I just went back to my old ways and just embraced eating all that unhealthy food. And aside from that, there was also this instance when I decided that I wanted to try triathlon. It's a new sport because most or like I believe more than half of my life I was an athlete. So it I wanted to try a different sport. I've been playing football before. So when I decided that I wanted to try that, one of my weaknesses really, even now I still struggle a bit, is to wake up early for training. For during my football years, most of our training were done in the afternoon or early evening. So mornings are not a problem for me. But this one, it's different. You really have to wake up really, really early so that, if you're going to be swimming, especially if it's open water, you have to travel, it's not hot and all that. So it's hard. It was very challenging for me. And I do enjoy the training. I do enjoy the sport. And I actually feel like I can do it well. But it's just the training part. It's just the waking up early related to the training that's a bit of a challenge. And I struggled. And there was also a few times that I seriously considered quitting because I just couldn't find the motivation. I couldn't find the change I need to wake up earlier. And with both the stories I shared, I want to ask if any of these sound familiar to you. That you probably experienced the same kind of concerns in one way or another. And I think it's pretty common. You were probably planning to save up, but you just couldn't stop that online and impulse buying. Or you've been wanting to eat healthier, but the chips, the chocolates, and for some alcohol, they're just very easy to get. The call of them is so much stronger than the healthy food. Or maybe you wanted to try painting again as you were doing when you were younger, but you just couldn't find the time to do that. Or perhaps you're someone who's saying that you don't want to do the same mistake over and over and over again, but you just couldn't seem to get out of the routine and you fall right back to where you were before. And it does sound familiar, right? The never ending cycle of wanting to change, but going right back to the beginning. It's tiring, it's frustrating, and it's downright demotivating, especially when you so badly want to change. That it seems that no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, and no matter how strong you wish for it to happen, the habits don't stick and the change doesn't seem to come. And you wonder why. We always wonder why. And you think that there's probably some deep rationale behind it, why things are the way they are and why it always happens. But truly, the reason is simple. It's because we think that by simply willing, the thing to happen, that by the sheer existence of our motivation and the huge amounts of desire that we have to do it, these are all enough to bring the habits and change to fruition. But the reality is that habits only stick, it only stays when you connect it back to your identity and you see its practice and implementation in your life as an affirmation of who you are. Hal Elrod said that where you are is a result of who you were, but where you go depends entirely on who you choose to be from this moment on. For the longest time, I have tried creating new habits. Um, you know, I would focus on what I want to achieve, and I would always write down the goal. This is the goal or the outcome that I want to get. And the way I would do it is that I will write down the goal, and then I would track back to the steps or the process that I need to do to get to that. So that was really how I planned it before. So before, example, I wanted to lose 30 pounds, I will exercise daily. I want to be a writer or a blogger. I will write 500 to 700 words daily. I wanted to wake up early, so I will set my alarm earlier than usual. My alarm would be like this. I want to wake up at 6. I have an alarm at 5, 5:30, 5:45, 5:50, 5:55. Ang dami, di ba? But I would try it. I would do anything just to try to wake up early. Or I want to be a good friend. So I decided I will check out my friends always. And I would text them at least every 3 days to check how they are. Just create new habits to do that. And the list goes on and on and on. And this is actually what we call the traditional approach. You define the what, so that's that's the goal or the desired outcome, and then you follow it with the how. So that would be the process and the steps. And there's nothing wrong with that, because many, including me, we do this approach in creating new habits and behavior because this is what we have been used to. We were not introduced any other way. So we would just do it. And I would find the motivation to start, and I would. But there would come days when I don't feel inspired to do it, and I won't. And that's why, in most cases, this approach, the traditional approach, almost always never lasts. And that is because creating behavioral change or new habits really begin at a deeper level. This idea was actually explained further by the author James Clear. He's the author of Atomic Habits. So if you have time, do catch that book. It's really a good read. Many of his thoughts I would be quoting today. So according to him, there are 3 levels in which change happens. And these are the 3 layers. So you see there's the outcome, which is the outermost part. Then the middle area would be the processes, and the innermost would be the identity. So the first layer is changing your outcomes. This level is concerned with changing the results that you want. So if you want to lose weight, you want to write a book, you want to win the championships, or you want to start a new business. So most of the goals you set are associated with this level. Now the second layer, the processes, this is changing your processes. So this concerns with changing the habits that you have and the systems that you implement. So you want to do a new training plan in the gym. You want to declutter your desk for a better workflow, or you want to develop a new cooking style, or want to try a different cooking method to eat healthier. Most of the habits you build are associated with this level. Now, the third and deepest one is changing your identity. So this level is concerned with changing your beliefs. This would include your self-image, your worldviews, your judgments and thoughts about yourself and to others, and also how you perceive the world. Most of the beliefs, the assumptions, and even the biases that we hold in our life are associated with this level, with this deepest third level. So just to summarize, outcomes are about what you get, processes are about what you do, and identity is about what you believe. And while all these 3 layers are helpful in initiating change, the question now lies really in the direction and depth of the change that occurs. So remember that you want to create habits that stick. You want to create change that will last for a long time. So it's really very important that we get to the heart of how you can make that stick. Many people begin the process of changing their habits by focusing on what they want to achieve. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, I'm saying I'm just saying that sometimes for that, um, it doesn't really last long, and this leads to outcome-based habits. So this is the image. So the change that you do, it starts externally, and the goal there is to go internal. That's short term. You start from the outside, you go inside. Now there's an alternative to that. The alternative to that is to build identity-based habits. That's the opposite. You start in the middle, you start at the deepest third layer going outside. That's the traditional, and this one is the transformative. So with this approach, you start by focusing on who you wish to become. It's not just the goal, it's not just the outcome, it's not just the result, but really who you wish to become. Because, you know, it's really very important to tie it to something that will motivate you and push you to continue with the change that you want to do. um, Hal Elrod, I was not able to include the quote in my presentation, but he said this quote that I think is very timely. He said that we should let today be the day you give up on who you've been for who you can become. I will repeat. Let today be the day you give up on who you've been for who you can become. So that's really the essence of creating identity-based habits. It's about who you are becoming. So um, I've explained that there's a traditional method, the approach, and then now there's a transformative approach. Because for years, going back to my story, for years, I repeated the same old narrative to myself that tomorrow I will eat healthier, and tomorrow I will wake up earlier. And I always say that. I always say that. And for many years, I wasn't doing that. So I couldn't understand why. You know, I followed healthy lifestyle bloggers. I enrolled in a 5-day seminar on clean eating. And I even do the grocery myself so I would know what we would be stocking in the kitchen. And I would also limit the days when I would stay past 11 p.m. So would buy, those series. But for some reason, I still find myself eating unhealthily and waking up later than my alarm time. That was until I began to understand the very important rule behind these things that I was doing, as opposed to the desire that I want. It's that behind every action is a belief system supporting it. So there is a certain thought pattern that is driving, that's the driving force of why I do what I do instead of what I desire to do. So let me connect that to how we can create habits that make it stick. We have to change the way we believe about a certain thing or about the way we see ourselves so that the habits that we create will be something that is innately who we are. It's not just it doesn't just start as an external part of who we are. We create habits by changing who we are because it is in essence the very identity, the very belief system that we are operating our actions from. So how do you do that? First is that you see yourself. So you create habits that stick by first beginning to see yourself as who you want to become and connect that image and connect that to the image that you want to be part of your identity. So you change your identity by changing the narrative you tell yourself. You change your identity by changing the narrative you tell yourself. So, for example, you want to move from just wanting to eat healthier to saying that I'm thinking and acting like I'm a healthy person. there's a difference with the narrative you tell yourself. It's gonna be from saying that I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to start a business, and then change the narrative to I am thinking, acting, and being an entrepreneur. The way you tell these thoughts to yourself will also allow you to move in the action of the identity that you have determined for yourself. James Clear said, it's hard to change your habits if you never change the underlying belief that led you to your past behavior. You have a new goal and a new plan, but you haven't changed who you are. The new goal and the new plan will always be there. So it's like this, there's an outside process, but you internally, you haven't changed, then definitely what will come out of you will not be changed. It will still be the same you because though your goals and your plans have actually changed, but the thing that is driving you to operate and that the thing that is dictating your actions did not. So that's why it's important for us to change the very identity that is driving these actions or these habits that we want to achieve. So going back to our previous examples, just is just an example. You can choose the thing that you want to change in accordance to your own preference. So if you want to make exercising a daily habit, then you begin to see yourself as an athletic person. So there's a difference when you're just saying, I want to exercise, as opposed to thinking, I'm an athletic person. Because if you say that you are an athletic person, therefore you will eat, you will drink, and you will exercise as an athletic minded person. And what do athletic minded people do? They exercise. So now, when you say that I am an athletic person, I will work out, I will exercise, I will train, as opposed to just saying, I want to exercise. There's not much force behind that. Or you want to say that you want to wake up early. In my case, I want to wake up early. Then I must begin first by seeing myself as a disciplined person. I am disciplined. Therefore, I live my days and create routines as a disciplined person. And what does a disciplined person do? She never misses trainings. And what would she do now? She would wake up early and do the training plan every single day, regardless of what she feels, because her identity is saying that that's what she must do. That's the that's what that identity does. So that's for the first part. Now the second thing that we need to understand to make habits stick is that we do make the behavior in agreement to the new identity. So now we have decided that, okay, I'm an athletic person, I'm a disciplined person. So now my behavior should be incongruent in alignment to that. Because if behavior is incongruent with the self, it will not last. And that's why before, when we were doing goals and we were trying to write down the outcomes that we want, and we would do it, but we would fail after a few tries because the behavior is not in agreement to the identity that we believe of ourselves. We just wrote down the goal, but the identity following that is not in alignment to the actual identity that you believe about yourself. So you must make whatever change you want to see as an extension of who you are today. It must be an extension of who you are today. And true behavior change is identity change. You might start a habit because of motivation, but the only reason you'll stick with one is that it becomes part of your identity. Becomes part of your identity. You may want to become a better communicator in your relationship, but if your behavior prioritizes comfort over honesty and you prefer to keep things to yourself, then definitely you'd have a hard time cultivating a deep relationship with your loved ones or your friends. Or, for example, you may want to build a greater financial wealth. You want to save up. But if your identity is of someone who consumes rather than saves, invests, and creates, then you'll continue behaving that way. and the goal that you want, it will be harder to reach that. And that is why changing in, and that's why it's very important to understand that it's really changing your identity first that will help you build habits that stick. You have to shed your older self. You have to integrate the element of who you want to become into who you are today. And as you go through the promise to the process of becoming you're building a new identity, you become proud of it. And as you take pride in it, more change will follow, more actions will follow that thought. Because the identity that you have chosen consciously is chosen by you for you. You're the one who decided on that. So your actions will follow it. It's taking also accountability and commitment to the identity that you have chosen for yourself to follow that habits. Because when things truly matter to you, you'll be truly committed to making them happen. You'll be truly committed. Motivation, it's usually based on emotions. And when you begin to change your identity and you create habits based on the identity that you have chosen, motivation will cease to be the driving force of habit building. It will now move into a secondary role. Of course, still important, but it will become now a secondary role and will just act as a sort of booster or pumped up factor when and if needed. Your motivation now will no longer stem from the need to act for the sake of acting, but now it will stem from the need to act for the sake of becoming, the sake of being true to the identity that you have chosen. So now, um, there are, the James Clear said that the more pride you have in a particular aspect of your identity, the more motivated you will be to maintain the habits associated with it. Right? For example, if you remember, like in school wars, school rivalries, when you're very proud of your identity, um, that you belong to a certain school, so when you're outside, you act a certain way in accordance to the rule of this certain school because you're very proud of it. So your habits, follow as you represent that because you know that it's part of your identity. And it's the same way with the habits that we build. When we truly integrate it to who we are, we become more motivated to maintain the habits associated with it. It becomes easier. So now you want to change the way you see yourself. You want to create habits that would be based on identity. How do you do that? How do you create a new identity so that your habits will follow it and it will stick? So just ask yourself these questions. The first is, who do I want to be? First, you have to decide who you want to be. And this question actually focus on identity. So that's what we were discussing earlier. This focus on the identity. Who do you wish to become? If you're having trouble answering that question, then you can approach it a different way from the aspect of what kind of results do you want to achieve. And then as you've listed down the results that you want to achieve, you ask yourself, who is the kind of person that would achieve such results? Example again, if you want to be an author, a book author, or a blogger, then you would say that's the result that you want. Then you would say that the identity now is that you want to become a writer. So that's the identity. If you say that you want to run a marathon, then now you say that you want to become a runner. That's the identity. Or if you're someone you say you want to help people, build social projects, to help those in need, that's the result. Then you say that you want to become a social entrepreneur. So you have to tie the result with the identity. And when you have asked yourself that, and when you have, created that identity that you want, the next question you ask is, what system of habits does this person have in place? So now this question focuses on the process. Now that you know who you want to become, You need to develop a system that would allow you to become that person. And you do that by adopting the characteristics of that person. That's why it's very important to truly identify the kind of person and define the kind of person that you want to be so that you can also incorporate and list down the right characteristics that belong to that identity that you want. So a writer writes. So now you need to adopt the characteristic of writing into your everyday schedule, right? A runner runs. You've never seen a runner walk. So now you need to incorporate a running program into your weekly or probably daily schedule. Or a social entrepreneur, they network, they build projects. So now you have to be intentional in creating and making time for your every single day to network, to research, to test, and implement these projects for your social initiative, because these are the things that these people do. So you do that. And the most important part there is that you need to show up to those commitments. Not only because you have to do so, but because you truly, deeply want to. Because the very act of showing up every day, the process of becoming, over a prolonged period of time, is what accumulates into making a habit that sticks. The process of becoming, the process of doing it over and over again, intentional, really taking action, implementing that, what that identity is supposed to do. That's what makes the habit stick. And this very habit matters to you because in the end, it reaffirms who you are or the identity that you've chosen. So, you begin the process of becoming a writer by writing a new page or a blog post every day. You begin the process of becoming a runner by running at least 1 kilometer in the beginning a day. A writer writes, a runner runs, a coach coaches. You do what you need to do. You do the characteristics, you do the habits of this person that you want to be. Habits are not about having something, they are about becoming someone. Ultimately, your habits matter because they help you become the type of person you wish to be. They are the channel through which you develop your deepest beliefs about yourself. And quite literally, you become your habits. So, in time, you will transform and become your habits. And probably for now, you just simply enjoy and begin the process of becoming. You begin and enjoy the process of becoming. And as you do that, the habits that you do that's tied to the identity, as you continue to implement it day by day, intentionally carving out time for that, it will be part of who you are and it will stick. Of course, I know that creating a new belief system is easier said than done, because really, if only one could do that, then it would have been a lot easier for us to remove the unhealthy thoughts and unhealthy mindset that we have. But there are times when it's more challenging than usual. And that's why I want to invite you. If you're someone who's saying that your current thought patterns have been getting in the way of creating new habits that stick for you and your lifestyle, and it's been affecting you in your relationships and in your career and just pretty much how you live your life, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about how you and your life can be transformed into how you view certain mindsets in your life. You don't have to be stuck in a never ending cycle of starting habits and trying to change, but it never sticks and you just go right back to where you started, probably even worse than before. Because you can overcome, and it's not yet too late. Know that help is available. So let's talk. Habits are not a finish line to be crossed, they are a lifestyle to be lived. They are a lifestyle to be lived. And as I end this conversation, let me invite you to be part of what we are doing as an organization of professional certified life coaches. So I invite you to be part of the Be Learning journey for living smarter with Master Coach A. Last May, Master Coach A launched the Be Learning Society. It's actually the tent maker of Be Learning Home for Mental Fitness, and Cup Coffee Republic is hosting the Be Learning e-card that unlocks a lot of perks and opportunities to learn to smarter learning. And aside from this is a monthly thing, and what you need to do is that as you register, you will enjoy 5% discount of food and beverage from Cup Coffee Republic. You also get to attend that month's mental model masterclass by Master Coach A. It happens every third Saturday of the month. And last but not the least is, of course, there's a 90-minute coaching session with senior coaches from Life Coach Philippines. So it's really a good opportunity for you if you've been wanting to know, if you've been wanting to see how coaching actually works, then you can just get this card, you get discount from food, you get to attend the masterclass, and you get a free coaching session. So that's really good value for it. And for this month's mental model masterclass, it's scheduled on July 17. Master Coach A will teach the 80-20 mental model mastery. So you will get to learn the mental model behind this 80-20 rule that's been the buzz for the past few months in a lot of business and career talks, and even in your household talks. And you can discover how it applies to almost every area of our lives and how it can help accelerate your success. So hope to see you there. And if also you're considering going through a different journey, you want something that is more that's longer, then probably this is what you want. You want to embark on a journey of becoming a certified life coach. So I invite you to please join us. Master Coach A is now offering actively co-create life coach certification program. And this is a comprehensive approach to learning and mastering life coaching. And this actually includes a 21-day web-based learning with 3-day live coaching bootcamp with Master Coach A, and a 3-day live business bootcamp with the senior coaching team. Aside from that, the program package also comes with other bonuses. So if that's something that you are interested to know about, do contact Coach Rizal through 0917-586-1661, so that you can discover, a lot of opportunities waiting for you in this profession. And so there, thank you. If you want to connect with me directly, these are my details. So please join us for another coaching conversation at 4 p.m. with Coach Tin for Coaching for Relationship. And once again, this is Coach Maan from Life Coach Philippines for Coaching Think Talk. Coaches like us think and talk like this, and this is us from the Philippines. Love, bam, boom. Bye.